We all think of school as a place of trust, right? A safe haven? But what happens when that trust gets shattered? Today, we're going to dig into a really troubling story about alleged corruption, and it's aimed squarely at the most vulnerable people in the whole system, the students.
And bam, it all blew up with this one piece of news. The director of a school down in Hatay was arrested, and not just by anyone, by the anti-corruption police. So let's get into what exactly went down here.
Okay, so at the heart of this whole thing is the school's director. The investigation uncovered what police are calling a really calculated scheme, one designed specifically to take money that was supposed to go directly to the kids.
All right, let's lay out the basic facts. Who got arrested? The school's director, a Mr. Pippett, along with 3 other administrators. And the charges? They're really serious. We're talking about corruption allegations centered on 2 absolutely essential things: the kids' lunch money and their school supplies.
So, let's tackle the first part of this alleged fraud, and that's the lunch money. Now, on its own, it might seem like just a tiny amount of money each day. But as you're about to see, when you add it all up, it becomes a whole different story.
And here's how they allegedly did it. It was shockingly simple, really. The government sends in 22 baht for each student's lunch. But then, the director's office would allegedly skim 5 baht right off the top. That means the cook was only getting 17 baht to actually make the meal. And who do you think paid the ultimate price for that? Yep, the students.
And this is the direct result. I mean, think about it. Nearly a quarter of the food budget just vanishes. So what happens? The quality of the food just nosedives. We're talking about kids getting meals that weren't just bad. They were completely lacking the nutrition that, they actually need to function and learn.
So yeah, this was way more than just a few bad lunches. When you take that daily deduction and you multiply it by every student every day, well, the true scale of the damage starts to become shockingly clear. We're talking about a huge impact, both on the kids and in cold, hard cash.
And we're not talking about a small group of students here. This alleged scheme hit every single kid in that school, from the little ones in kindergarten all the way up to primary 6. That's 1,100 students every single day being affected by this. So when the investigators finally did the math, when they added up the damage from the lunch money scam and the school supply scam, the grand total was just staggering, over 2 million baht.
And believe it or not, it wasn't just the food. The allegations point to corruption on 2 separate fronts. So you've got the lunch money scheme, where they're allegedly skimming 5 baht a day. But on top of that, investigators say that money meant for new school supplies was also being mishandled. Instead of buying new books and equipment, the school was apparently just handing out old secondhand stuff.
So the big question is, how long was this actually going on? Well, the director had been there for a long time, about 20 years. But what the police have found so far is solid evidence showing this happened for at least 2 straight school semesters, from the end of 2022 right through the middle of 2023.
Okay, so arrests have been made, the scale of the problem is out in the open, so what happens now? Well, the focus is shifting to 2 things: the legal fight ahead, and maybe more importantly, figuring out how to stop something like this from ever happening again.
So, what's the latest on the legal side? Well, all 4 of the accused, the director included, are denying everything. They're pleading not guilty. The police, on the other hand, have moved forward and officially filed some pretty heavy charges, including joint embezzlement and even forgery. Unsurprisingly, this whole mess has sparked a huge conversation about oversight and how to prevent this in the future. And one of the biggest ideas being floated is actually pretty smart: create food inspection committees. But here's the key part: they should be made up of parents and teachers who have absolutely nothing to do with buying the food. It's a way to bring in an outside perspective and, some real accountability from the community itself. And really, that's what this all boils down to, isn't it? It leaves us with a huge, fundamental question. And it's not just a question for the folks in Hat Yai, but for all of us, for every school, everywhere. How do we make sure the systems we have in place are actually strong enough to protect the money that's meant for our kids? How do we make sure this kind of thing just can't happen again?